All right. Well, we're going to get started. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Seifert. I'm the Director of Recruitment here at Central Penn College. So a lot of you have probably spoken with me throughout your admissions process here. If you haven't, it's great to see you today. So if you can, I see a lot of your smiling faces on the screen, but if you don't mind, we'd love to see you. So if you have the ability to turn on your camera and don't mind, we'd love to put a face and a name together. And if in your corner, if you can change your name to your actual name, that would be great. If you're on like an iPhone or Zoom, if you could put that in just so we can get your attendance for the day. So make sure you do that. And I have some people with me today. Some of my friends and colleagues here have joined us. So I'm going to just do a quick introduction so you know who's going to be speaking with you today. I have Derek Weitzel, our events planner. He is here. He'll be disappearing for a few minutes. He's kind of the mastermind behind all of this, but he'll be back to be your game show host later to win some prizes. And then we have Amy Rocliffe, who is our high school outreach coordinator. So she will be telling you why you should come to Central Penn and what makes us different than everybody else. And then we have John Steindale, who is our financial planning coordinator. He is going to be helping you with all your money questions today on your FAFSA, scholarships, housing. And then we have Asia Sargent, who is our admissions counselor. So some of you guys may have already talked to her.
Hello.
And then there is Amy Reinhold, who is another admissions counselor. She deals a lot with the PTA students. So if you are a PTA student on this call today, she probably has spoken with her.
Hi, everyone.
And then we have Candace Henry. She is also an admissions counselor that joined us today. And I think that is everybody on this call that's going to be talking with you. So before we get started, just a couple housekeeping things for you guys. Make sure that if you have any questions, if you go to the chat feature on your screen, put any questions that you might have for any of us in there. And at the end, we'll address all of them and get them answered for you so you can make the best decision going forward. We will also be, like I mentioned earlier, playing this game. They did a Name That Tune game at the end that you can win some prizes. It kind of goes with our Cocoa and College theme. Some of them have to do with cold, the winter, all of that. So Derek will be back to help you navigate that. And then we will also be going over the admissions process, and we will go over that again at the end of, you know, what to turn in, how to get accepted, what to do next with tours. But we cannot wait to talk to you all. We are really curious on this call what programs you're interested in. So if you don't mind opening your chat, making sure it works, maybe drop in there what program you're interested in. As we'll be going over a lot of them today. And then we'll be following up with you individually with any specific program questions that you may have. You want to get this started? Kayla, accounting, good with numbers. I like that. Homeland Security, Business Administration. Oh, phlebotomy. Oh, Amy, you got some PTAs in here. Billing and coding. Criminal justice, so lots of medical business. Great, I'm glad you all could join us. Oh, we got more medical billing and phlebotomy. We'll be hitting all of that today. So thank you for participating in my questions. But I will go ahead and hand this over to Amy so we can get started for what you came for to find out a little bit more about Central Penn.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to go ahead and share a presentation. And like Lisa said, if you've got any questions at the end of it, you can just drop them in the chat as we go along, and we'll be able to answer any of those questions for you. So as soon as Derek gets the presentation up here, we'll be all set to go. But we are going to start with a poll. We are going to do a quick poll before we get into the information about the college so that you're able to kind of give us an idea of what you're thinking about and where you're at with everything. So as soon as we can get that all figured out, We're having some technical difficulties. Here we go. So if you can tell me, what are you most excited about as you think about college? And then question number 2 is, what are your top 3 factors that figure into your college decision-making process? So you can do multiple choice for that one. So think about the things that are most exciting when you think about college. So are you thinking about your own room and independence? Are you thinking about clubs and activities, which we'll talk more about, meeting new people, the accomplishment of a degree, classes, or sports? And then for the top 3 factors, academics, athletics, size of the school, tuition and financial aid, location, housing, student life. So just kind of give us an idea where you're coming from. We'll be touching on all of these things during the presentation. So this is just kind of an idea for us as we get started. Okay, we'll go ahead and end the polling and let me share those results with you. So it looks like so many people are excited about the accomplishment of a degree. I get that. This is definitely a sense of accomplishment. When you get through your program and you're ready to go into the workforce, it's a great sense of accomplishment. And it looks like the academics are really something important to you, and tuition and financial aid. Again, we're going to be talking about all of that. And then the location. So that's great. It kind of leads right into the start of the presentation here. So we are Central Penn College. We're located about 10 minutes from downtown Harrisburg in suburban Somerdale, Pennsylvania. So we are the best of both worlds. We've got a safe suburban campus, but we've got all that the city of Harrisburg has to offer. So I saw that there's a lot of students interested in the medical field, so we have access to all those healthcare facilities. We also have state government just 10 minutes away. So if you're interested in criminal justice and security and maybe the legal field, you've got all of those great minds just 10 minutes away. So it's a really exciting place to be. We have about 1,100 students, and we're a diverse population on our campus. So you can see that our mission is to give students from a variety of academic backgrounds the education needed for employment and advancement in their fields. So we are a career-focused educational institution, and our goal is to help you get to that end goal, to get to that point where you start the career that you're dreaming of. So one of the first things you need to think about is, again, think about your end goal. What career are you looking for when you finish college? Because that's going to help you decide what program and what type of certificate or degree you need. So you can see some of the certificates available here. We have entrepreneurship, medical assisting diploma, medical billing and coding, phlebotomy, and then we also have some non-credit programs in personal training and telehealth. So if those are things that you're interested in, these will get you out into the workforce even sooner. And perhaps you're thinking about an associate's degree. And you may know that that typically takes about 2 years to earn. And you can see some of the options that we have available. We have physical therapist assistant, occupational therapy assistant. This is where criminal justice fits in accounting. So this may be the option for you. Now, maybe you're thinking more of a traditional college degree, which is that bachelor's degree that typically takes 4 years to earn. And you can see what some of those options are here. And we'll talk a little bit more about what sort of time frame you'd be looking at to earn these degrees. And perhaps you're thinking about, if you want to go into law, you may be thinking about how can you condense your time in school and earn that degree even quicker. We have a partnership with Widener Law that gives you the opportunity to earn your law degree in just 5 years rather than the traditional 7 years. You would start at Central Penn College, and by working through our accelerated terms, you would be able to complete your bachelor's degree even quicker. And then you transfer to Widener University. So after a total of 5 years, you will have earned your Juris Doctorate law degree. So it's very exciting. It's a great opportunity to make sure that you're out into the legal field even sooner. And then maybe you're thinking about a master's degree program after you finish your bachelor's degree. It's designed to enhance your career opportunities. So getting that master's degree is just the icing on the cake after your other degree. And you can see that we have an opportunity in organizational development or financial analysis under organizational leadership. Now, I talked to you about these accelerated terms, so let me explain a little bit more about what that is. So typically colleges have 2 semesters, fall and spring. We do things a little bit differently at Central Penn. We have 11-week terms with a 2-week break in between. But this means that you can earn that certificate that we talked about in as little as 9 months. That associate's degree that we said typically takes 2 years, you could earn that in as little as 15 months plus your internship, getting you out into the workforce even sooner. That bachelor's degree that we said typically takes 4 years to earn, you could earn that in just 3 years plus your internship. And the great thing about your internship is that you're not only graduating with a degree, but you're graduating with actual work experience that you can put on your resume that shows companies that you're ready to go as soon as you leave college. Now, maybe you're interested in continuing athletics. Maybe you've played in school or you're part of a rec league. We do offer intercollegiate athletics in the USCAA conference on a Division II level. Our sports are men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and women's volleyball. Now, maybe intercollegiate sports isn't exactly what you're looking for, but you do want to stay fit and active. We do have intramural and club sports that are available to you as well. So if athletics are something you'd like to continue, take a look at our opportunities. Maybe you're more interested in esports. That's something that has become more and more popular as the years have gone by, and we do have a competitive esports team here at Central Penn. We have our very own gaming center, which you can see a photo of here. We have it set up a little bit differently right now so that we're meeting all the requirements for social distancing, and our students are wearing masks. But you can see that we've got all the equipment needed to make our esports team competitive across the state of Pennsylvania and nationally. Now, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give to any student heading to college is to make sure that you get part of some of the organizations and activities. Get involved. We have over 20 student-run clubs and organizations on campus, things like student government. So maybe you want to be part of the decision-making on campus, or maybe you'd like to be part of the nightly news, doing podcasts and broadcasts and all sorts of ways to keep the campus informed. We also have activities like bowling. We've had bingo and trivia through Zoom. We've been able to do socially distant in-person events as well. We had an outdoor movie where students were able to be on the quad and be with each other, but we still were able to be socially distant. We've also done exercise classes, both in person and through Zoom. So make sure when you get on campus, get involved. Now, we do have our Capital Blue Cross Theater. There are opportunities for you to be involved in every aspect of a production, from writing, directing, acting, producing. Maybe you want to be involved behind the scenes with the sound or lighting. It's a great opportunity for you to get to know other students and to let that creative side out. Now, student services are available to assist our students in a variety of ways. So we do have an advising center that is available and will pair you up with a student success coach from day one. This student success coach is who will help you figure out your schedule each term, and they'll check in with you during the term to make sure that you're on track for graduation and things are going well. We also have a counseling department because we do recognize that that transition to college can be difficult. So we want to make sure that you've got all the support that you need. So it's very easy and it's free of charge to schedule an appointment with our counseling department. And here's a photo of one of our professional tutors working with a student. We have our learning center that is staffed by both professional and peer tutors. So it's a great opportunity if you need a little assistance with a math problem, or you want an extra set of eyes for an essay, or maybe you just want to learn some strategies and study skills. Take advantage of the Learning Center and all of the in-person and online opportunities available to you. We also have the Office of Equity and Multicultural Affairs, and they work to make sure that all students feel welcome and included on campus. And we're going to go to the next slide here and talk about housing. Another one of our student services departments. Now, before we start with housing, I'm going to do another quick poll just to get an idea here. We're going to see if you, what you're going to do to make your room feel like home. The first thing you're going to do to make your room at college feel like home. Are you going to make the bed, hang decorations, set up the TV, organize your closet, or fill the fridge? What's the first thing you're going to do when you get on campus to make that room feel like your own? Great answers. Okay, so let me end this here. It looks like the biggest one is hang decorations. You want to make sure that that room really does feel like your own and you have your own space. So let's talk a little bit about housing. I know that that's always the biggest question. You want to know where you're going to live. If you choose to live on campus, we have what we call our super suites. And the great thing about these super suites is you'll be sharing a suite with 6 other students, having a common area between you, and then each of you will have your very own room. You share a bathroom with just one other person. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got that community feeling with your suite mates in that common area, but you also have your very own room to go back to. The best part about our housing is that it's free to you your first year on campus. So you're really able to live that on-campus life, and the housing is free. Now, if you choose to bring a car on campus, you are able to bring that from day one, but you will need a parking pass. It's free from our Department of Public Safety, so just check in with them and they'll be able to give you a parking permit for it. Now, graduate success is something that every college wants to measure, and you're going to see all kinds of numbers and statistics available. So I want you to stop and think about some of the numbers that you've seen. So I can remember looking with my kids at colleges, and one of the things that came up was 99% of our students are employed within a year of graduation. I thought, that's it, sign them up. But when I dug a little deeper, for example, there was a student who had earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and 6 months after graduation, they were working at Taco Bell. Now, Taco Bell's a great place to work. It's good food, regular paycheck, but it's not within their chosen field of criminal justice. So at Central Penn, we measure things just a little bit differently. 90.6% of our graduates were employed in their chosen field or continuing their education within a year of graduation. So what does that mean? Well, it means that, for example, if a student earned an associate's degree as a physical therapist assistant, they are employed as a physical therapist assistant. A student who earned a bachelor's degree in information technology might be employed as a network engineer with a major company. That's what we mean by employed in their chosen field. And how do we help our students get to that rate of employment? We have what we call our Career Center. And this Career Center works with our students to help them with their resumes, interview skills, to make sure they're dressed appropriately for different interviews. So if you need an outfit, we have our career closet. They also host job fairs that bring employers to campus, both in person and virtually. They also help with our internship fair. And this doesn't end when you graduate. As an alumni, you also have access to jobs that are available, and you can reach out to the Career Center for assistance. Now, I think we've got one more poll here. Let's see if we got that one. We can launch that. What would a Central Penn College degree mean most to you? Does it mean a better life, a well-paying job, a family legacy, a ticket to a career of helping others, or a skill set to run a business? So what would a Central Penn College degree mean to you? We'll give you a quick minute to answer this. I appreciate your participation in the polls. It's kind of nice to see what everybody's thoughts are here. Okay, so let me end this and share. So a better life, that's a great reason. I love seeing the answers to these questions. So thank you so much for your honesty and for sharing. Okay. I'm going to move on to our next slide here. Now let's talk about the admissions process. Now, it can be a confusing process to apply for college, but we have really tried to simplify things for you at Central Penn. Our application is free of charge and it's available on our website at centralpenn.edu. It only takes a few minutes to apply, and you can even do it on your phone if that's easiest for you. We do require a 500-word essay, but we ask you to write about your favorite topic, you. We want to know about your involvement in school or community. Or what would a Central Penn education mean to you? We do require your high school transcript, and you can usually get that from your guidance office, but we are SAT and ACT optional. So if you weren't able to take those assessments in the spring or summer because of cancellations, they are not required. We do require a campus interview, but you've got that covered today. So that's exciting. You're all set with your interview. Lisa will speak a bit more about that. We are available for tours starting next week. If you're interested in a tour, you can reach out to your admissions counselor and they'll be able to schedule that with you. We do have some restrictions, but we can't wait to welcome you on campus to take a look around. We do have our Central Penn College app available for you. You can download that today and you can look for the option that says prospective student. That way you can get the most up-to-date information about Central Penn. And here you've got Lisa Seifert's contact information. So if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to her or reach out to your admissions counselor. They'd love to hear from you. And next, I'd like to introduce John Steindall, who's our financial planning coordinator, who will speak to you a little bit more about the financial options at Central Penn.
Yes, thanks, Amy. Hi, everybody. My name is John Steindall. I work in our financial aid department here at Central Penn College. I'm a financial planning coordinator. And what I want to do today is just go over some basics with you about the financial aid process and options that you have for covering costs for school. I won't be able to get into a lot of details, but we have 7 full-time staff members here in our financial aid department, including 3 financial planning coordinators who are here to help you before you get started, while you're in school, and even afterward. We're here available to help you. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, so we're glad to help you individually to look into all the options you have and help you get everything in place. One of the things about financial aid, as we look into it here, one of the things about getting your education that I like to remind students about is, of course, there's an expense to it, as there is to most things in life. But unlike most things, like say a new car or a new television, as soon as you get them, they pretty much start to lose value and they depreciate right away. And ultimately, they end up being worth nothing. But it's the opposite with your education. It's an investment that you're making in your future. Not only will you hopefully get to start out in a career that you really enjoy and love to do, but it increases your earning power over your whole lifetime, the more education you have. So it is an investment and we want to help you get started out. So real quickly, an overview here. These are some different types of financial aid that you can look into and apply for. Not everyone will qualify for everything, but first of all, we definitely want to help you see if you get any of the free money, right? That's the stuff that you want first. So the first column here, grants and scholarships, are free money that you can apply for. There's a government grants that are available that if you qualify for them. There's a federal grant called the Pell Grant. Also that third one there, that SEOG, it's an educational opportunity grant. Those are from the federal government. The second one there, the FIA grant, is through the state of Pennsylvania. And the state of Pennsylvania also has other potential grants that you might qualify for. Also, we have scholarships here at Central Penn College that we offer. There's numerous ones for new incoming students like yourselves. We also have a Central Penn Foundation that once you start classes here, if you do well, there are many opportunities for additional scholarships through your entire college career here. There's also some private scholarships that you could look into. You just want to be careful. Unfortunately, There are some scams out there. It should always be free if you're ever looking into any kind of a scholarship. And if you have any questions about things, we're here to help in that regard too, regarding scholarships. On the other side, in the other column, there are student loans that are available to students and potentially your parents as well. The federal government offers, it's called a direct Stafford loan. They're not going to check your credit at all for that one. You'll be eligible as long as you complete the application, which is called the FAFSA, which I'll get to in just a moment. Parents of students are also able to apply for a direct plus loan. That's the federal parent loan. And there are also private or alternative loans available, either through a bank or there's other lenders who work with us that you could apply if needed, or if you wanted to look into the private student loans as well. Next slide here. As I mentioned, the FAFSA is the application for the federal student aid. So you'll see what it stands for there. It's the free application for federal student aid. It's free to do it and there's no obligation to anything. There's the website, it's fafsa.gov. I know there are lots of acronyms in financial aid. If you have questions about those, that's why we're here to help with any questions you have at all. But the FAFSA is the application both for the grants, it's for the federal Pell Grant, it's the first step for the Pennsylvania State Grant, and it's also the first step for the federal student loans. If you decide you want to use the student loans, there's a couple other documents there that you'll see. Is a promissory note, which is an agreement form basically that you agree that you're borrowing the money and that you would repay it. And then entrance loan counseling, which is very helpful. It goes over a lot of basic information about the student loans, about repayment options, interest rate, and many helpful details. Those are on another government website there, the studentloans.gov website. As I mentioned, scholarships are a great source of funding. It's typically free that you can look into. We have a website there that you can see where we list all of our scholarships. You can look them over, and if you have questions about any particular one, whether you would qualify for it or not, or how to apply, please let us know. We'll be glad to help. One of the best places to look for scholarships is with organizations or groups that you're already part of. That could be some community organizations, maybe scouting or groups like that, or your church might offer scholarship to you. Your parents' employers might also have scholarships or help that they would give to you to cover school costs. One of the best places is with your high school. Check with your guidance counselor. They can be very helpful in regard to looking for scholarships. Also, if you're working, a lot of times employers will help with school costs. Sometimes they offer, it's called tuition reimbursement, which could be additional potential free funding for you to go to school. Now, with the loans, here's some basics for you. Again, if you have more questions, we can go into more detail about this, but the federal government offers a couple different kinds of loans, subsidized and unsubsidized. The basic difference is with the subsidized student loan, if you qualify for any of that, you will not have to pay any interest on that while you're going to classes. And for the 6 months after you finish school, they call that a grace period. You would not be charged any interest at all. The government would cover the interest charges for you. Also, by the way, if you use the student loans, you do not have to make any payments on them at all until 6 months after you finish school. So you can totally concentrate on your schooling, and then they give you 6 months afterward to get settled in, find a job, and then even then there's many different types of repayment plans available to you. The unsubsidized loan is available to all students. Subsidized is going to be based on your FAFSA information. All students are eligible for the unsubsidized loan. They do charge you interest on that. You don't have to pay it while you're going to school. If not, it will just be added into the amount and you could pay it back later. Or if you wanted, you could pay the interest on any unsubsidized loan while you're going to school. That's up to you. There's different amounts available to you as you go through your college career. As you can see down at the bottom, they let you borrow a little bit more each year as you go through school. You can see the amounts there on the left. On the right, those amounts are for the 9,500 and the 10,500. Those are for what the government terms independent students. which that means a student who is age 24 or older, or if you're married, or if you have a child that you support or dependent you financially support, you could qualify for those numbers on the right-hand side. Most of you, I'm going to guess, are probably looking at the numbers on the left for the amounts you can borrow. All right, the next slide regarding textbooks. You'll need to pay for your own textbooks each term. If you have enough financial aid eligibility, you can cover the cost for your textbooks. We'll help you, determine that. Approximately, it's around $100 or a little over per class is a good estimate. It depends on whether you want to get brand new books, if you're okay getting rental books or used ones. Sometimes there are online options that are not as expensive. We have an online bookstore. You can look there. If you want to look elsewhere for your books, that's fine. But our online bookstore is pretty competitive and usually has a lot of options for you towards your books. And then down at the bottom, as I mentioned, if you have a credit on your account, which means if you have enough financial aid to cover your tuition, your fees, and everything else, and there's additional funds available, you can use that toward paying for your books. Also, as Amy had mentioned, this is a great initiative, a great opportunity for you starting out here at Central Penn, and that's free housing. Up to, well, over $5,800 in savings for your first year here. You can see the amounts that you could save by taking advantage of our free housing. So you will have to pay for utilities and meal plan. That's not included in this. This is for your housing, your room fees. And then after your first year, you'd be charged a housing rate starting in next summer, 2022, and going forward if you choose to live on campus. There are some criteria for this free housing. You can see down at the bottom, there's a contract scholarship form to fill out. You'll need to maintain good academic standing and follow through if there's any housing programs that you're asked to participate in. Maintain a full-time course load, which is 4 classes or 12 credits. There can be exceptions for that that would need to be approved, but and then also maintain continuous enrollment and live in Central Penn housing. And you can potentially have a very large amount of costs, free for you in your first year. So that's really a real quick basic overview. If you have specific questions, we'll be glad to help you. Kelly Fox, we put her information up here because many of you have probably already been in contact with her. She's the one that will be working with you primarily going forward. Myself and my other coworker, Krista, we do very much the same thing that she does. So we're available to help as well. Kelly will be back in the office on Monday to help with any questions you might have. In the meantime, feel free to put a question in the chat right now, or you can reach out to me in the meantime. Be glad to help you any way we can. And I think now we'll turn it back over to Lisa Seifert.
Thank you very much, John and Amy. We appreciate all the information that you shared with us today.
Sure.
So everybody, if you want to open up your chat window and put in any questions that you have, I know these guys did a great job telling you all about Central Penn and what we offer in financial aid, but I'm sure we missed something along the way that you're wondering about. So please feel free to put it there and we'll get them answered. I do see one question already. One of them is, when should we send our transcripts in? At the end of the school year, when we graduate? I know a lot of people on this call are in different stages of the process. So if you are a current high school senior, you would send them in now as of up to whatever semester that you are in your high school. And then you will be required to send a final high school transcript before you would get started with all of your final grades. If you recently just graduated from high school, or if you graduated a few years ago, we will still need to get a hold of your high school transcripts. So you would send those in to us during this process as well. If you did a dual enrollment with us, with HAC, with many other area community or colleges in the area actually offer that. So if you have that, you would just request those up until this point, and every time you complete a class, you would send an updated one to us. And if you have already taken a year more, a couple semesters, a couple classes at another college, all you would have to do is submit those transcripts to your admissions counselor as well. And what we do is we do a transfer evaluation. So you know what classes can transfer in here and what classes you would still need to take to finish your degree with us. So I hope that helped. If it didn't, just put any more clarifying questions in there for me. All right, we got some more. All right, a question about the Learning Center. Is there an option to access the Learning Center virtually? I can definitely answer that. We do have virtual hours for the Learning Center. So if not everybody, I know Amy covered this in the presentation, but the Learning Center does offer tutoring. So we can do that in person, and we can do it via Skype, Teams, Zoom, whatever is easiest for you. So we will set that up as you go. So it's definitely there. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We want you to ask. We're here to help you. And Megan Rem is not on the call with us, but she is the Learning Center director. And if you reach out, she will do everything she can to help get whatever you need answered, whether it's through her, through one of the tutors, or through even the professors and deans, depending on what type of questions you have or what subject you need help with. They will get that all set up for you and help you out. All right, another question is, so I filled out and submitted my application without my essay. Will I have to resubmit my application, or can I do the essay? Well, lucky for you, you don't have to resubmit anything. You are good. The essay is just part of the process. So it is a 500-word essay. So I know that seems like a lot, but guys, it's only one page, a couple paragraphs that you send in to your admissions counselor. Basically, probably your favorite subject, all about you. What are your goals? What are you involved in your school, your community? Why do you want to take the program you do? Like what's the end game in this? What kind of, professional career do you want? So you just write that. And if you have any questions, just reach out to your admissions counselor or myself, and I'll be happy to send you basically the criteria behind it so that you have it and you can develop an essay for us. All right, and then I'm in the military family. What are my options for financial aid? Well, lucky for you, John knows all about that. So yes, John, can you help us out?
Sure can. Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, there are benefits for veterans and service members, depending on what your parent is qualified for. There's a GI Bill that might be able to get you some funding towards your schooling. So what I'd recommend is if you could get in contact with me, I'd be glad to talk with your parents, or Kelly as well, to find out, if they've done the applications for the military benefits. And then, yeah, we'd be glad to look into that and help you out any way we can. And then, Lisa, I see another question real quick here about financial aid. I'm going to take that real quick. It looks like Melanie for help with financial aid and right with the child. Yeah, actually, that could potentially help in your eligibility for grants from the government. What you want to do is fill out the FAFSA, that free application. That's the first step. And then we can go from there and let you know everything that you qualify for and help you more specifically with the questions that you have. I forgot to mention, when you do the FAFSA, it usually only takes a couple of days until we get the information here, as long as you include our school code, which, and I'll put that in the chat right now. And so if you can do that, we can get you some answers about your eligibility. Again, it's free and only take a couple of days.
All right, thanks, John. Another question is there any deadlines on the paperwork? And did my school send the transcripts for me? Haley, yes, you beat me to sending you a message today. I just got them in my email a little bit ago, so your transcripts are here. As for deadlines on the paperwork, we are basically first come, first serve. So for most of our programs that you are looking at, but definitely the sooner the better that you get in that paperwork, so we can help you through the process and get you through financial aid, get your classes registered, and, you know, help you order your books, like all the things you're going to do leading up to getting started. So the sooner you get us that paperwork, the sooner you know if you're accepted, and we can help you with the rest of the process. I am going to include Amy Reinhold in this question because I know there's some PTAs on here. And there's some OTAs. I know I work with the OTAs as well. So before I throw it to Amy, the deadlines for OTA, you're going to need to just get them. I accept 18 students in each cohort, and we accept for the spring, which is our April term, or the fall, which is our October term. So most of you have probably started working with me if you're applying for that program. So just reach out and talk to me about that. And then Amy, I'm gonna let you answer for PTA how that deadline works.
Yeah, I actually chatted myself to say that the admissions requirements are a little different. There's no 500-word essay for PTA, and a couple other things are different. So Madison, I see your question. I wrote down here, Madison Porter, I will shoot you an email with all the requirements and all my contact information and everything like that. But PTA does have a certain deadline to start. The next start for PTA at our Summerdale campus is July. The deadline for all the requirements are April 1st. So again, I'll reach out to you individually. I kind of know who you are on the call, and we will talk about everything.
All right, thanks, Amy.
Sure.
All right, Louis, I see you have a question about when you would start taking classes. That all depends on what term you're applying for. We do have 4 terms a year. Our very next term is spring, which is April. And then we do start again in July, which is our summer term. And then we have our fall term actually begins in October. And then we just started last week our winter term for this year. So usually that happens at the beginning of January. So if you are on this call and you are I know there's like 2022s, 2021 grads, you guys would start either in our July, our summer term, or in October, our fall term. And a lot of others on this call are transfer students, or you've previously graduated, so you have your option of those 4 terms. So depending on what you apply for, and then once we work with you in the process of what the best fit is for you. So if you want to know individually, please reach out and we will get that answered, and I can let you know what you actually applied for. And if we need to change it, if you decide to start earlier, we'll be happy to do that. All right, and then there is a question for online classes for your program. So I believe that is a medical billing and coding program that you're asking about. So that is a certificate program, and it is a combination of online and on ground. So you can do some classes online as well. So I can reach out to you one-on-one to go over that as well for you. And I think Amy already answered this, Madison, for you for your PTA requirements. So she will reach out to you as well to go over the specifics on that. All right, John, this one looks like for you, it's EFC. So I'm assuming it's one of those acronyms you were talking about in financial aid world.
Yes. Yeah, it stands for expected family contribution. Actually, I just put a note in the chat there about it. I was a little slow on my typing skills, but basically the lower the EFC, the more likely, or the more in the grants that you should be able to qualify for. There's a calculation that the government does. We don't make that determination. The Department of Education does. But yes, so like if you had an EFC of 0, that would mean you should be eligible for the full amount of the federal Pell Grant, and probably the Pennsylvania State Grant as well. So again, doing the FAFSA will let you find your EFC, and then we'll be glad to follow up with you and let you know the exact numbers.
All right, thanks, John. All right, so as a junior, can you, when can you apply to Central Penn? You can actually apply right now. So as a junior, we are accepting applications, and what will happen is we'll help you work through the process. And once you get your final grades for your junior year, so usually that happens in May or June, for you guys. As soon as you have that, send it over to us and then we can get you accepted. So basically you can know a whole year in advance if you're accepted to our college. So absolutely fill out that application and we'll get working with you. All right, the next question is, I'm at Lancaster CTC and have 2 transcripts. So should you wait or should you send them now? Definitely send what you have now, and then we'll tell you what we need updated, and then you would send in your final transcripts at the end of your senior year too. So definitely just send us what you have and we'll tell you if we're missing anything. If you started in the spring, how soon do you have to submit all the requirements? You have plenty of time. I'll start working. So anybody that's going through the spring is typically probably going to be working with myself. So you just let us know or let me know what specifics, or I'll be in touch with you this week on what you need to get in and let you know where you stand. And where do you apply for the Pell Grant? John?
Yeah, you caught me again. I was just in the middle of typing an answer to that. But yes, that's a great question. That is the FAFSA form, is the application for the Pell Grant. So it's FAFSA, FAFSA.gov. I just put it over in the chat. It's the free application for the federal Pell Grant. And I put our school code in there again. If you have any questions when you're doing it or run into any issues with it, feel free to let us know. We'll be glad to help you.
All right, thanks, John. The next question would be, where should we send our essay and transcripts? You can send them to your admissions counselor or myself. I just put my email into the chat window here. So feel free, of any of these items, if you're not sure who to send them to, you can definitely send them to me and I will make sure that they get to the appropriate counselor if it's not myself that you're working with. I can help handle that. And the information on the letters of recommendation. Okay, so if you have letters of recommendation that you need to get from us, it is 2 references. So it cannot be somebody in your family, okay? So you can't have mom write about what a great kid you are, or grandma that you're, your favorite grandchild. But if you could get either a coworker, a boss, a coach, a guidance counselor, even a neighbor, people that have known you and can give you a reference of why that this would be a good fit for you and why we should accept you. If you need more information on that, please don't hesitate to reach out and we can give you some more prompts to help with that. All right, I received an email that 10 days to fill out my FAFSA, but I've not received my W-2 and have not had time to resubmit the FAFSA. John, can you help out with that?
Yes, absolutely. So great question. I forgot to mention during my presentation, on the FAFSA that you'll fill out, it'll be the 2021-22 FAFSA. They will not ask you for any of the 2020 tax information. So you don't have to wait until you get your taxes done this year, or your parents get their taxes done, until you do the FAFSA. They're going to ask you for 2019 tax and income information. So most folks will already have that done for quite a while. They made a change a couple years ago because people were running into this same question. I didn't get my taxes done yet. I don't have the documents. So they bumped it all back a year. So you don't have to worry about the 2020 taxes or W-2s. You should be able to go ahead and do it. And also, I'm not sure about the 10 days. I'm not sure who you heard that from. We encourage students to get it done sooner, as soon as you can, but there's no deadline of 10 days. So I wouldn't worry about that.
All right, thank you. All right, and it looks like, when is everything in the application process due? That is as quickly as you want to work and get accepted is as quickly as we will take it and work with you through the process. So again, the sooner you get them in, the sooner I can get you an admissions decision. So what we typically need for the application is going to be your interview, which leads me to, congratulations, you have one thing checked off your list. You joined us today. So this actually counts as your interview. I know most of you, I have seen them coming through my email all day yesterday and today of you filling out the interview sheet. But if you have not gotten around to that yet, if you can please do that later today and email that back, or if you need the link again, I'll stick it here in the chat in a few minutes. But just fill that out and that'll count as your interview for today. And we will also need, if you're not a PTA student, so you can disregard this, Amy will get in touch with you, but we will need the 500-word essay. And then if your GPA is below a 2.0, then we will need an additional 2 letters of recommendation. But if not, then it's just the essay, your transcripts, and your interview. If you're wondering what we have on file already from you, if you just need a reminder, please don't hesitate, use my email address. I can access your application and see where you are in the process and be able to help you out of where you need to go. And I'm sorry, PTA is physical therapy assistant. So my apologies for using the acronym for that. So an OTA is occupational therapy assistant. So thank you for reminding us. So with the interview, if you can just remember to send those in. Looks like that is all the questions at the moment.